entertaining speech is something all the way out of the box for me. Usually I'm more of an inspirational, deep thinker, but this speech called for something different, so I'm going to show you a different side of me. Unless you really, really know me, you never really get to see that wild adventure side of me. Usually you see the quiet, reserved, or aggressive, somewhat bossy, maybe just a little bit type A type of person, but hey, it happens. There's another side of me I want to share with you all today. And just this past weekend, Labor Day, I did something that I have never done before. Something that if you would have told me a couple of years ago that I would be doing, I would probably hurt you. All right? Because it's just totally out of my comfort zone. All right, so Rashid is going to help me today, and we're going to go through something that happened over this past weekend. All right, so what you see here is my family. Not just my kids and my husband, but this is my husband's family and my family all together. We actually had a wedding to attend. My nephew got married. And so since they were going on their honeymoon trip and they were going to leave us, we figured we better have something to do that was going to match what they were doing. So we decided to go whitewater rafting. Right here you see the bus right here. It actually took us to a secluded place. It was just almost like boot camp. I almost got scared on the bus because when I got on the bus, the man told us to sit down, be quiet, and just wait for the ride. I'm not used to that. All right. The next slide, please. All right. Next slide. So this picture here starts the adventure. Let me set the stage for you. Now I know you actually see us on this boat. The guy on the back is actually the professional. We're not that crazy. We didn't get back there and just do all this stuff on our own. But what happened is what you see in the backdrop is a huge waterfall. No, we didn't go down it. Oh. Now, I thought that's what they were going to make us do first. As soon as they dropped us down there, they put us right there at the ledge of that huge waterfall. And we thought that the first thing we were going to do was actually drop down the waterfall, flip down the boat, but that is not what we did. They actually just set us there to scare us and really just to get us used to the water. They walked us through the steps of how you work together to actually row and steer the boat. Next slide. Now this is where the fun begins. We actually covered the middle part of the Oconee River. We went to a town, McKaysville. Have any of you ever been to Blue Ridge, Georgia? The Oconee, it sits right there at the line of Georgia and Tennessee. So we covered the middle trail. And in the middle trail, there were about 8 rapids. There were probably about 4 very shallow pieces. And then there were also some areas where you could just coast through. This part right here, you see all the rocks that are behind us. The main thing here was for us to listen. We had to listen to that tour guide tell us when to steer forward and when to steer back. Otherwise, we would get caught in all of those rocks. So the faces you see right there, the intervention is that water is cold. But we only had 2 choices at that point. You either deal with the cold water, or you jump out and get in the rest of the cold water. So I think some of us kind of got used to that water splashing in our faces. All right, the next one. All right, now this is right before we got ready to go on one of the rapids. And the difference between the normal waters and the turbulent rapids is the fact that the water is shifting and moving and stuff is coming down at you all at the same time. So as we're trying to maneuver and everybody's listening for the guide to say, roll forward, roll back, you're hitting rocks, water's coming at you, all this stuff at the same time. And you always have this little aching feeling in the back of your head. What if this is the time that I'm about to fall out of this boat? All right? So at this point right now, this was a kind of scary point because you see the boat kind of shifting to the side, and we had to work extremely hard to make sure that we shifted everything and had to get those paddles back on the other side to get some more balance. Can you turn back? Obviously, we got it right. All right? We didn't flip over at this point. So we were able to manage through everything, and this is just coming out of the rapid. We're going back into the waters and we're going around the rocks. And at this point right here, we were probably a couple of seconds right before we got stuck. We actually got stuck on one of the rocks. And the tour guide had to come out and he helped us and he made us do this thing where he told us, if I ever holler out James Brown, you know what to do. We looked at him kind of crazy. He said, James Brown, that means get down. All right? So he would holler James Brown and say, get down. And everybody to go ahead and shift from the side of the boat into the middle and put their flag up so they can make sure that no one flipped over, because coming from that turbulent water to still waters is actually one of the most dangerous times when you're at risk to actually falling out of the boat. All right. Now right here, you actually see us again right after we finally got everything together. We're laughing, we're having a good time. When we've gone through the rapid the first time, we thought that we were going down Easy Street. Well, we hit another rapid. Well, at this point right here in the front, you see me leaning back because I'm really hoping that my cousin on the other side really's got my back, because once you shift to the right, that means all the water's coming to the left. So we're all getting splashed on this left side right here. And we're still working in the pour. I know that guy in the back just had to be praying the whole time. He had to. He didn't know what type of fools he had gotten into the boat with. All right. Here, once again, you see us all shifting, and I've already told you some of the rules of the rule book. Once you shift one side to the left, you got to make sure that you get everything back to the right. And this is the scare. You see my cousin in the back with the yellow shirt? That look of horror that he has on his face? Why do you think he's looking that way? I just want to know if you can guess what's about to happen.
You got to flip.
Any other thoughts? Flip? No thoughts? Let's flip the next one. We went under the water, all right? Now, at this point, we didn't flip all the way over. The tour guide, right now, if I could go back and this wasn't just a still picture, I would punch him. All right? Because he set us up. This was a moment when he told us, get down! So we were totally submerged in the water. I guess that was his way of making sure that we had a really good experience. We could have avoided that, but he intentionally told us to get down because he wanted us to see what it felt like to be able to steer the boat and manage it and still be totally submerged in the water and get back up and still know that everything was all right. Now, that's the end of the pictures. I bet some of you are probably wondering, well, did she actually fall out of the boat? Yep. I thought I was going to meet my maker that day. Whatever, I know if any of you have ever been totally submerged up underwater, those 10 seconds feels like an eternity. But I'm here today, so obviously I made it through. And I'm hoping that you've been inspired to do something totally outside of your comfort zone. All right? I'm hoping you get to see another side of me, not just this reserved side, that I actually have a fun side too. And if you're ever interested in doing whitewater rafting, let me know. I got a lot of contacts, and maybe we can go ahead and go on a boat together.